Hi, good afternoon, guys. Welcome to KeyPundits.com. Thank you for viewing all our other videos as well. We have a very special guest today. Her name is Nirali Bhatia. She is a counseling psychologist specializing in the study of cyber psychology. She is also a TEDx speaker and has been quoted in various articles in leading newspaper and has regularly appeared on several news channels. She's also the director of V4WEB CYBERSECURITY and founder of an anti-cyberbullying organization, cyber, called B.A.A.P, which stands for Cyberbullying Awareness, Action and Prevention, which is very rare in India, Nirali, and I'm glad to connect with you. How are you doing?
I'm very well. Thank you so much.
First of all, thanks for doing this on
Cyber.B.A.P.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how, it gets memorable
Yeah,
because of the acronym and kids get fascinated with the name.
I wanted to say cyber B.A.P, but we have some international viewers as well. They won't know what the B.A.P meaning would be, right?
I agree, yes.
But how are you doing? Before I go into this professional interview, I would like to, get your views on what do you think what the lockdown has done, on your daily life.
So I guess because it has come absolutely out of nowhere, there is initial resistance, but I guess now we all are set into a routine, and this is kind of becoming our new lifestyle. So I guess by now we're good and ready to comply with whatever it takes to fight with this. But yeah, it's initially there was a lot of resistance. Suddenly life changed altogether without giving us time to prepare, to think. So one of its experiences where no matter how much you do plan, you never know.
Yeah, it's the first year, like you said, for us it was the first few weeks was a complete shock. Our entire business was coming to a standstill. People were I mean, there's a lot of fear in the minds. Now we are kind of getting to a point where this is your new life. How do you adapt to it and then kind of get a better life out of this as well? So probably
that's
adaptation.
the key of our human species. You can say that we are very, very adaptable. As soon as we accept, we are good to go.
Good to go. Very true. And that, that's something which you mentioned is very true. In fact, you won't believe, just last week, one of one of her credit cards was hacked. I mean, there were 5 fraudulent transactions within a matter of 7 to 8 minutes. Small transactions, nothing major loss. And before that was before, after, in fact, I asked you for an interview time, and I was shocked that this could happen to somebody like me. I'm a tech savvy person. Made a lot of mistakes while saving some passwords on the browser and all that stuff as well. But that night, my wife felt a little back, like, what else are we saving on the cyber space? What else are we? She didn't want to be on the Facebook. She didn't want to be. It's like that knee-jerk reaction, right?
Yes, that's usually a little panic situation, and then the reaction.
Yeah. So what I mean, and the other thing was, I spoke to a couple of my friends who are lawyers and in the government agencies as well. They're saying the cybercrime has risen quite high in the last 4-5 weeks.
Absolutely. And this has become our new place to go, right? We have no other place to go. So cyberspace is the only escape that all of us are having.
Yeah.
And that's what these all cyber criminals are taking advantage of.
Yeah, and that brings to our topic, right? Because that's what we wanted to talk to you about is, what do you see? The topic is psychological implications and interventions in dealing with cybercrime. And let's just take an example like mine. We had a very small transaction problem, so that's fine. We can just write it off. But there are people with thousands or lakhs of rupees. And how does one even deal with it from psychology point of view?
So see, like you mentioned that we could write it off.
Yeah.
That was one aspect, that you could bear the brunt of financial loss. But when you mention your wife's, reaction and feeling, that's exactly the impact of this kind of crime. This is not a crime where you will be able to see any physical wounds.
Mm.
It's all over here, and it kinds of comes to us as in, oh my God, how could I fall prey to this? If it's a financial one, or if it is anything like harassment, bullying, trolling, somewhere the victims start believing that they have called it onto them. They've invited this. And after this, when we get into the process of complaining, reporting, and we have to relive this because the wounds are not visible, no one understands what we are going through. And that same thing again and again is asked on to you, making it much more deeper within, saying that, am I such a fool? Now what will happen? To give you an example, if I have seen 10 clients who have been victim of different types of cybercrime, at least 5 of them suffer from paranoia, because they start feeling that fear takes over so much that they start believing, okay, somebody is watching them all the time on internet, their accounts are hacked, their devices are hacked. So it leaves you in such a space where you can't express it because you feel nobody will understand.
Mm.
If someone comes to you saying that, look, I think, somebody's spying on my emails, what's your reaction going to be? Arre, tera vehm hai. You're going to say like, okay, you're just imagining,
Right.
or it's nothing like that. Get your security checked and all. But the person who's gone through a kind of, harassment or any sort of crime he's been victim to on this space, for them, it becomes very difficult to then get back to the normal usage of internet space. So, plus, it's difficult for other people also to understand and help them, because they don't see, otherwise all areas of life are normal. If you
Mm.
meet with an accident, you can see the wound,
Mm.
and everyone can, they can empathize, they can relate. But when it comes to cybercrime, people cannot relate until and unless it happens to them.
Mm.
So these are challenges which also, not only the victim but someone who's helping also has to go through this.
And financial crime is still fine, I believe, for somebody like me or anybody else who could just bear the brunt and move on, right?
Yeah, up to a
But
certain extent,
to a
yes.
certain extent, but there are much more, like you said, about harassments, and
Yes.
you've seen about child abuse or
Yes.
any other sexual harassments online which people go through. How does one deal
Right.
with that? Because like you said, uh, but the person may not be
So
even aware of
uh,
that this could happen to them at all. This could happen all of a sudden. If it happens to them, how do they even tell to their parents? Let's just talk about
yes,
younger children.
younger children, yes. So I'll give you an example. In these last 4-5 weeks of lockdown, on CyberBAP, I have got at least 8 people writing to me, and all of them are under age of 18. So they are technically children, writing to me about being trolled, about being bullied online. And the first thing they write is, please help us how we can stop this. Because the unfortunate thing of internet space or cyberspace is the magnanimity of this issue. See, bullying, if you look at it in a physical context, it's only till we are in contact. But when it is in cyberspace, it has no boundaries. From one nasty comment, it can go to thousands of them within a blink of an eye. And then it's there. It's there till these intermediaries are made aware of it. They find it, they review it, and then they take it down. But that procedure is too long. In that meantime, the victim has to live with this again and again and again. I'll share a case that I had. This is of a young guy. I think he is 17. And on his Instagram page, one of his schoolmates put up a throwback video of their school annual day or something. And on that, he made some comment which led to another people commenting. It was a closed group where they were the same school batch friends who were commenting on each other's photos. And within, I think, about 13 minutes, 14 minutes, something, it went on to the war of words between them, between the friends. And then one of the friends just put it as an open post. And that in 3 days has invited about 13,000 troll messages to the person, to the
Oh,
victim. And these are random people.
yeah.
they are only tagging because there is no restriction on tagging. I may keep my account private. I may block people who I know who are sending me direct messages. But what do I do of people tagging me?
Mm.
So his phone continuously keeps beeping with these messages that you are all abusive words. There have been sexual threats, there have been death threats, and people we don't even know. Half of them are fake accounts. So when he got in touch with me, he was like, first you tell me, how do I go to sleep? It's been 3 days, I'm unable to sleep. This is 17-year-old. He doesn't feel that his parents will ever understand. And he himself also believes that, okay, I started the fire. But it was only between our friends. I never wanted to make this public the way it became.
Mm.
And now, if we have to take immediate action, we write to Instagram. I mean, that's what we will tell him first, that, okay, you write to Instagram that this is what is happening and these are the fake accounts from where you're getting these. But one account is blocked, another is created. From there it's coming. So it's practically at times very difficult to control it, to stop it,
Yeah.
until we have law and order intervention. During these times, going to the police station to make an FIR is again very difficult. Plus, children are not really during such times not so bold that they will go, and they have to be accompanied by an adult. So obviously they have to inform their parents. So it took me about 3 sessions with him to bring him to a point where he could relax, be prepared to talk to his parents. But he insisted, no, you talk,
Mm.
because you can explain better. And so there is somewhere gap between understanding of parents also about these kind of crimes. Even when I spoke, of course, as a parent, his mother did react that, so but what was the need of him being on Instagram? you
Mm.
know this is
Yeah.
what the parents do not realize, that this is a digital era. These children are born in this age. This is very natural to them. If
Yeah.
they are not on Instagram, they will have peer inclusion issues.
Yeah.
So there are a lot many such challenges, and then law order challenges are separate,
Yeah.
particularly in our country. So the whole thing was, first few sessions only went in emotion. He could accept what's happening to him. He could go back to his normal life where he could function. His college was online, but he wasn't attending. He was avoiding because he was like, I could not get off those comments off my mind. So there are a lot of such kind of
Yeah.
crimes where even that sensitivity and empathy is missing from people around us.
Yeah.
And that's what takes a longer time for victims to actually get over it.
And we've read these articles coming, in the last so many years. People are not able to cope up with the trolls or the negativity which comes through, and they finally commit a suicide, or they go for something which is hurting themselves, like as if they are the ones to blame for the entire thing. And
Correct.
that is something which is, no matter how many friends you would have, once you go into that zone, I believe then it's very difficult for somebody to get out until unless they seek a professional help like yours
Time.
and
Yes,
say, help
it
us.
does take time and it needs a lot of support.
Yeah.
So you can use the same technology with the same methodologies that the criminals used to troll you or the perpetrators used to troll you. You and your friends can use the same thing to stand up against it. But
Yeah.
it takes us to be in a positive frame of mind to be able to think and get on with that.
Right.
And to get on to the positive frame of mind is where it takes a lot of time.
Yeah. And that also, it also, like you said, it also depends on the person, right? If the person is just positive person, he'll take it in his stride and then move forward. It also depends on the age, the maturity, and all that stuff as well.
So
Uh,
I'll differ
yeah.
little over here. It's not. So I'll give you an example. I was part of a television show which was aired on MTV called MTV Troll Police. That show was about bringing the celebrity trolls face to face with the celebrities, because we all know that celebrities get trolled left, right, and center,
Yeah.
and the comments are really way far demeaning, and the words cannot describe, they're that bad. So now these celebrities, you and me as a common man, we can simply say that, well, you're a public figure, you should be used to it. But
Mm.
trust me, it's not easy. Today
Mm.
your families are on internet, your friends are on internet,
Mm,
your professional group is on internet. So it affects all areas of life.
mm,
If it is only up to me, I can still, if I'm a strong person and if I'm a very, very positive person, I can individually manage it.
mm.
But the world on internet is so small that it goes beyond me and to my social circle, which is where it becomes far more difficult for victims to really be able to manage, no matter how strong you are.
Yeah. And I think there's a taboo in India too, right? If you go to a psychologist, that means there's something mentally wrong
Right.
with you. That's a big taboo people
Absolutely.
have, right? I mean, in the Western countries, I've seen people, even they're going for therapies, even they have some smaller problems in life, and they get out of that.
Correct.
But in India, going to a psychologist means you must be nuts. You must be really crazy. Do you feel that?
Absolutely.
Do you feel
To,
that's
to
the case
begin
as well?
To begin with, in India, still the difference between a psychiatrist and psychologist is not known to everyone.
Yeah.
They think we are also doctors and we're going to prescribe medicines, and then those medicines will have side effects, and also that anything to do with mental health is only about disorders. This is the main belief, and
Mm,
hence people have this kind of a fear of going for any kind of mental health help. Uh, it is slowly changing, with a lot of our fraternity talking about it, and being much more open about certain things, like we have celebrities talking about it very openly. So it is no doubts, but yet there is a mindset, and the biggest challenge we face is because our work is very intangible.
mm,
So how the human mind is programmed is like, if I am paying for something, I need to get something in return. Now if I'm paying something which is
yeah.
tangible, I can touch the notes, then I need to get something also which I can touch and feel. So a lot of people
Right.
ask me that why am I paying only to talk to you? So these are the regular questions that
Yeah.
we, and the moment they start feeling little better, they discontinue. So
Correct.
it's like, if you do not complete your antibiotic course, you're
Yeah.
still going to be very likely to fall sick again, because your
Right.
immunity is still not that strong. Same happens over here, that
Mm,
initially they start because they've been advised by their, either by their doctors, family doctors, or by their families, or by their schools.
mm,
But there's a slight difference, and you start feeling a little confident, then they discontinue. So
mm,
we have these kind of challenges very often.
mm. What other crimes have you seen? Cyber crimes, if you don't
So
mind.
multiple, but I will start with the ones which are trending now.
Yeah.
So the most common which is trending now is of course bullying and trolling. It's like top of the list everywhere across the globe. The second on rise in India particularly is sextortion.
Mm,
So, and it's across the age. It's the victim. So there are 2-3 models in these which these perpetrators are using. One is the very rampant one, and a very recent one was where you were getting emails which the subject line was your password, and it would say that I know what you were watching last night. I
mm,
have your recording, and I'm going to share it with your entire friends and family over the social media
mm.
until and unless you pay me so many bitcoins.
Wow.
So this was very common one, and the passwords are actually yours.
Mm,
So you start believing that, oh my god, I'm hacked, or how does this person know? And if you have at all done anything which you wouldn't want to share with your family, then you are taken aback, and there are people who have ended up paying. But this is absolutely a scam.
mm,
See, these are the guys who collect our passwords and email IDs from the dark web. They purchase it, where there are certain websites which in past have been hacked, like Zomato database was hacked, and there were a couple more. So from there they get, and then they randomly shoot out emails. So they're just taking advantage of people panicking over those emails and paying up the money. So sextortion is, and the second model of sextortion is, because today internet is the only way we are able to communicate with our peers, and there's not very interpersonal interaction happening on the screen. Because of the disinhibition effect, it becomes very easy to indulge into your personal details very soon.
yeah.
So a lot of people are experimenting and also being very reckless in terms of sharing their
Yeah.
personal sensitive pictures,
Yeah.
which could later be used to extort from them.
Mm.
So that's another form of bullying which is leading to sextortion, which is very common. Your children are also victim, and this one is really, really very hurtful because they themselves have shared it.
Yeah.
So it's like a double thing, you know, like first of all, you trusted that person, so it
Right.
breaks your trust, so you're going over that whole trauma of, you know, being distrusted.
Yeah.
And second one is that now you're being extorted, so that fear takes over. So that's another very rampant one. Then stalking is quite so it is one of those cyber crimes where it's very difficult to track, you know, who is the perpetrator over here. And then you're, that's the one which leads to paranoia very soon. You know, if you constantly keep feeling somebody is watching you, somebody is
Yeah.
stalking you, it can open the doors to many more mental health issues as well if not addressed. Then the another rising one is the ATM card frauds, where I also got a call actually from somebody saying, Madam, your ATM card is blocked.
Mm.
Now, in lockdown, you cannot go out of your house and check, but I will do that for you. And all you have to do is you have to send me the front and back picture of your card.
Mm.
So these are the kind of calls. See, if it comes to you and me, we are digitally literate
Yeah.
enough to understand. But imagine today, elders are on internet, children are on internet, and they have not much awareness that these are. And those guys are very convincing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they call you at that time, and they create so much of urgency that they don't allow you time to think.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
these are the very common ones. By and large, bullying and trolling has been giving me a lot of work under CyberBAP. If you see, I put up a few case stories also with all the names and all changed. It's largely bullying. Children are accidentally becoming bullies also
Mm.
because they have enough time in hand. uh, the, you know, the time spent on internet is very I mean, it's increased at least
Yeah.
double.
Yeah.
Plus they want attention.
Yeah.
So the platforms like TikTok, they give you a lot of attention.
Yeah.
People have started experimenting, they put up their videos, and they do not take care of the security settings because they expect or they somewhere believe that, you know, I also want to make my video viral, so they keep it open.
Mm.
And then you don't know who's watching you and who's making comments.
Yeah.
So, and one nasty comment attracts like a entire array of comments.
Yeah.
So
You know, we
so
we
these
are
are
that
the comments.
we are that generation where we have seen both sides of life, right? The one which is
Yes,
without the internet, without, you know, without all the trollings. The only bullying or anything was actual fights, physical fights, right?
correct.
And like
Yes.
you said, this is all cyber related stuff, and then people cannot reach to their families or their own parents to discuss this out. What is the first thing one should do once, you know, I'm just talking from a mental point of view. Let's talk about the solutions part as well. What is the first thing a person should do right away? As like when I saw the hacking coming, I knew
Hmm.
this is going to be a credit card fraud. Okay, without telling my wife, it was my wife's credit card. I went into the computer. I made sure I blocked my card, logged in, blocked my card. Whatever I needed to do first, I did that first, and then I told her that, listen, we
Right.
were.
Yes. So that's actually very much the way to go about it. That technically first get going. Tell yourself it's okay. See, now because we are in internet age, the mistakes that we will make are going to be different than what we made in the earlier days. So obviously, there's no point blaming ourselves that, oh my God, why did this happen to me and stuff. So the first thing, blocked. So if it is now in case of financial fraud, then we understand that you got to immediately call up your bank and credit card company and stop it, block it, change all your passwords, and then look into it that where was the flaw when this happened. In case of harassment, in case of trolling, in case of bullying, the first thing that you do is immediately report and block and take a screenshot. so that in future, if we want to build up a case or something, if it doesn't end, then we have some evidence. Now that's one advantage with cybercrime, that yes, we can have evidence in forms of screenshots. So yes, always take a screenshot and always report and block. The more we report, you ask your friends and families also to report that particular ID. The more there is reporting of that particular account or an ID, then the intermediaries will look into it much faster, because they're getting say a lot of reporting against them. Then the next step to do is, if this continues, then if you are not an adult, it's time to involve an adult, whoever you trust, or you can reach out to organizations like ours. Then we also have a very beautiful facility by our government. We have a website called cybercrime.gov.in, where we can go and report these crimes. So it's very important that we do report. So it is, so law and order is also aware that where and what is happening. And the fourth step could be that if nothing of this is here working and it's not stopping, it's time to make a proper FIR. So get on a cyber lawyer, ask them to help you build up the entire thing, that what sections and what all things we can use to make a case, and go and make an FIR. It's not difficult, and it's a right thing to do. The last thing after this is move on in your life. This is not end of the world. There are multiple people who have nothing else, but this is the only medium they make money out of people's harassing people.
Yeah.
So don't give them that significance that they're looking for. Sometimes the intent of harassment is only and only to make you suffer, and if you give them that, they are winning.
Yeah.
So do not do that. Move on in your life. If you want, if the need be, stay away for a while from that till you are better off, but go back to that platform, because it's part of our daily lives today. So I
Right.
would never advocate that stop using internet. That doesn't practically work.
Yeah.
But give yourself a break till the time you feel confident enough to go back to it, and seek help. Seek help openly. Talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So and so even in during these times, are you able to meet your clients like over the web to talk to them and consult
Yes.
them as well? You're able to
Yes.
do that as well, yeah.
That's the advantage of technology, that it's made our world small. I do have my counseling sessions also going on via these mediums. We use Skype and other mediums to get in touch. We also help them virtually to like when the mails come to us that this has happened to me, what should I do? So the work is still going on. We don't have to physically be over there, but we can, in the meantime, they can go to the next step. At least we make sure that they don't feel hopeless.
Yeah.
That's the first thing every individual around should be talking to the victim, is you're not alone in this. Because the wounds are not visible, it's very difficult to empathize and understand the victims, what's going on within their heads.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and this is, I believe, this particular space is only going to grow. A lot of people like you and me are still getting hacked. We are educated, but there are a lot of people who are uneducated and they do not know how to use their credit. I mean, one of our watchmen came to me and said, "Sir, this is my ATM card. I don't know how to use this. आप मेरे को
Correct.
बता दो, ये मेरा पिन नंबर है. मैं उस लड़के को बता देता हूँ, वो कैश लेके आ जाता हूँ." I said, ये पिन नंबर किसी को नहीं देना है. तो that mentality was, he's my brother. I can give him my PIN number. I have no problem. I can give him my card. So I think because of that, also a lot of fraudulent transactions are happening as well, because the awareness is not there. So, are there any programs from the government to make people aware of these such things?
Digital literacy is definitely the need of the hour, and up to a certain extent government is doing, they're running campaigns. There were television ads saying that never ever share your bank accounts or PIN numbers or OTPs over the phone and all. But it is going to take a little while, because we as a country, we are in the process of becoming 100% digital.
Right.
And while if you see, we still have a large segment of population which is not even literate, forget being digitally literate. So
Mm.
to bridge this gap, it is going to take time. You was talking about the watchman. I'll talk about my parents. For
Mm.
them, banking has never been digital. Now,
Yeah.
when the first time my father-in-law was asked after the demonetization, he was asked that you have to now start using credit cards and ATM cards and all. They also had no idea how to do
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah.
we have been insisting even the banks to take up these programs with the senior citizens, with their all their customers. I've been very actively working with the schools in order to empower children to become better digital citizen and learn certain etiquettes so that they don't fall prey to any kind of nuisances online. So there is a way to go ahead, and a lot of people like us are doing whatever we can in our capacity,
Yeah.
but it will take time.
Yeah. And is there a government recognized course for, the newer generation to understand about cyber crimes, and are there certifications for that? How does one become a cybercrime psychologist?
So in India, we still do not have any particular course or certification to become a cyber psychologist. Yes, overseas there are a couple of courses available. There is MSc also in cyber psychology in two of the universities and all. Um, but what I feel is that even if you are not by your degree a cyber psychologist, if you you understand the digital medium better,
Yeah.
and if you're a psychologist, you can still be productive and still help in this particular cause. Uh, the second thing that you asked about the courses in terms of understanding the crimes and all, I'm not aware of any specific one that government is offering, but a lot of private institutions are having forums where we do talk about cyber crimes, which are the trending ones. A lot of magazines that are covering them up about digital forensics, digital crime investigations, crimes which are trending.
Mm.
So we do have medium, but the reach is not that broad yet.
Yeah.
It's still up to, I could say, metros or a very small community of people who are interested in this. The others are still, busy getting handle over the regular usage.
Yeah.
So going on prevention is the second step for them.
Right. Which I personally believe is a great area for somebody who wants to do this, because this is going to go on. There are going to be multiple hackers and trollers all over the world as we eventually get into everybody. Let's just say everybody gets onto the digital world. 7-8 billion people in the next 10 years, 15. There'll be a drastic need for people and these services what you guys are offering.
True.
And I hope the government comes up with some kind of a module. I
I'm
mean,
sure. A lot of a lot of private institutes have taken up. Even government institutes, there are a few who are having at least cyber law courses are there.
yeah,
About then ethical hacking courses are there.
yeah,
Particularly for cyber crime or cyber psychology, yet not. But I'm sure we will have soon.
mm,
We are that way a very fast as a country, to leverage on anything that's new.
yeah,
Maybe just we are all hit by this COVID-19 situation, and hence there is
yeah,
a little lag. Otherwise, by now we would have certainly had some.
absolutely. And you see, that's something. The next topic which I wanted to do with you is uh, medical information is something very private, right? All your lab results, all your hospitalizations, everything is very
Correct.
private. I
Yes.
have personally known about a lot of cases where that information has been hacked. Uh,
Yes.
and I don't know why would anybody want to hack that information, because
I'll
there's,
share a case that we have got.
yeah, I would love to talk to you about that. Can you please?
So, one of my neighbors, it happened with him. He lost his father, and after 5 or 6 days of his father's demise, he got a call saying that your father has made this kind of a policy, and you got to deposit a certain amount
Hmm.
so that we can reimburse you the policy amount, or we can mature the policy and transfer the amount to your account.
Mhm.
and they had all the information about his father's
Oh,
death.
oh.
So basically, they had the death certificate, access to the death certificate
Mhm.
or the records.
Mm.
That was one. The second one, the second case that we had heard of, it has not directly come to us, but in the fraternity that we heard was the prescription.
Mm.
So many times what happens is that we don't understand what the doctors are writing.
Mhm.
So we write them, we put it on WhatsApp, and then we send it back to the doctor saying, are these the medicines that you've asked for? So if it is by email or something, then these kind of prescriptions are also being hacked, and then they are being used to sell to you the products which are alternative,
Mm. Oh,
plus the other
good.
stuff that they push to you in terms of. So yes, this is our private sensitive data, and our data privacy bill is
Yeah.
on its way to take care of nuisances because of this being leaked or something, but we are still a bit behind.
Yeah. Yeah, that will be. I know the Indian government is trying its best, I think, to come up with
Yes.
laws which could be something very
Yeah, we've
similar
seen
to.
the draft and it's really pretty good. So a lot of practices will have to change in terms of the way they were operating or they are operating, and in terms of digitization there will be a lot of paperwork to be done, restrictions and stuff, but I guess it is needed.
Yeah. I guess this is our time, Nirali. I would love to ask more questions. I'm sure we'll have a lot of viewers asking us these questions later on as well. Would probably send those questions to you. If we can do another one, maybe in 10, 15 days time. I'm pretty sure there'll be a lot more cases you'll be busy with in the next few weeks. But I really appreciate your time and stay safe.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you.
Take care now. Bye bye.
Bye bye.